So, hey everyone, my name is Karri Kurumäki. I'm one of the co-founders of Hoxhunt, and also I'm leading the new product commercialization here at Hoxhunt. With us today, we have the honor of having our CTO and co-founder Pyry Ovist in the call as well.
Hello, everyone.
So, as many of you might already know, we at Hoxhunt, we have a substantial background in machine learning and AI-driven solutions. In the past, we've used this expertise to create the world's first special purpose AI to train your employees to become resilient against the biggest threat within the cyber industry, phishing attacks. Now, we've done this by creating a special purpose AI that is able to map out each one of your employees' skill matrix in regards to phishing skill. We use our system to make your employees able to, first of all, recognize the phishing attacks they receive. But not only that, we've used the system to reward your employees for their right behavior. So, what is the right behavior? Well, in order for any organization to understand if their technical protections have failed, their employees need to report any suspicious emails that have ended up to their inboxes. Only with this threat feed can any organization learn if their technical protections have already been breached. And this is why our system is rewarding your employees for reporting any suspicious emails that they have received. And indeed, this is the major milestone that our special purpose AI has been able to accomplish within our customers' employees' minds. We've been able to turn your human layer to an active sensor network that gets triggered whenever it suspects something to be malicious. Now, once we conquered this milestone, we started asking for feedback. We started listening to our customers. How do you like it? The answer was heard loud and clear. You are able to incentivize our employees to report simulated attacks, and that behavior correlates strongly with the reporting of real emails as well. However, when a real email is reported, the employee rarely learns if the email report really was a true positive, a real malicious email. The employee doesn't know if their actions resulted in them protecting the whole rest of the organization. So we formulated the problem statement to our brilliant engineering team. Can we use our strong background in AI development to revolutionize the feedback loop of not only our simulated emails, but the real emails as well? Can we give instantaneous analysis and feedback to the employees when they are suspicious of an email that is not from Hoxhunt? Can we have an impact to not only the cost side of any business, but actually have an impact on the top line of business by enabling our customers, employees, to recognize if they should act on a business-related email or not? Now, today we have something awesome to show to you guys. We have indeed revolutionized the way this feedback loop is being closed. I want to thank you everyone for joining today. Today we will talk about our newest product release, Instant Feedback, and we have the honor of having our CTO in the call as well to kind of dive a bit deeper into the actual product and see how it has been developed. So, Pyry, we approach your brilliant engineering team with the challenge of closing the feedback loop for real emails as well. Could you tell from your point of view, how did you approach the problem and what was the solution that you came up with?
Thanks, Karri. Great question. So, as usual, as we Hoxhunt, we kind of try to always be very kind of customer obsessed and orientated. And what our customers were saying to us that, hey, guys, you got this great awareness platform. Users are now finally reporting these threats, but we actually have a problem where we're actually getting a lot of these reported emails to our SOC to our systems, whatever the customer is using. And our security operations center or network operations center is already actually in a massive kind of barrage of signals. And we get feedback from the users that it's really demotivating for the user when they spot a real attack, not a training mail, but real attack, and report that they never hear back from that. And the resources to have, for example, the SOC to respond to every report is not just there. And we kind of started looking, okay, could we help with this problem? And what we initially did, anyone who has kind of developed any AI systems, is that you need some data, some tag data to kind of guide the machine and teach the machine. So already, I think 3 or 4 years ago, we made it in kind of huge investment and started hiring from university these kind of bunch of smart people to kind of start tagging threats to us and generating this huge data set of basically emails that has been kind of richly tagged so that we can train our ML model against that. So based on this, we kind of thought that, okay, if the users need feedback, what would be the best speed for the feedback? And I think as the modern time we're living, people want to get immediate response. And as with our platform, where it works really well, when you report a simulation from Hoxhunt, you immediately get this amazing score. We decided, hey, instant feedback is the way to go for us, where basically we are giving the user immediately the kind of our assessment of the reported email. And the second part was that we actually kind of figured out that, hey, we can actually use this for training. So kind of our ML model can not only tell what is the kind of score of maliciousness from, let's say, 0 to 1 or 0 to 100, however you want to scale it, but actually it can tell what are the elements here that it found to be suspicious. And we can tell those to the user, and the user can actually learn from those and take those with him or her, with her. And basically, let's say that they're in some other environment, home, using their own personal email, they see the same markers there. So I think the end result, we are super proud of it and super excited to kind of see it out into use, and as we're kind of rolling it to our most advanced customers at the moment. So super excited about the development there.
Awesome, thanks, Peter. And also for the audience, remember to use the Q&A button in the Zoom client. So whenever you have a question, just post a question there, and we will answer those questions at the end of the call. Now, Peter, could you tell us a bit more about how does the system work under the hood, so to say? So how are we able to make these verdicts instantaneously in real time? How does it work?
Well, what we basically do is when we get a reported email, we kind of run this real-time online analysis on it. So basically what we do is we take the email into parts, the constituent parts, like where is it coming from, what is the kind of the content in the email, the attachments, the links, etc., where they take the user, and also looking at language. So we feed the content into a kind of language model that can tell something about the intent of the email. So we basically kind of take it into, I think, kind of extract over hundreds of features from it. And then we basically have this kind of trained model, which we are kind of training continuous basis, which can tell us that if the email has these indicators of threat present, it kind of gives us signals that, hey, this could be malicious. And these indicators can range from very simple things to a very abstract things. So it could be kind of like undisclosed recipients, which you see in a lot of phishing attacks. Very simple thing to detect. The heuristic is very, very simple. To a more kind of higher level abstraction, where we look at, for example, does the email contain certain language? and there we kind of use kind of latest kind of state-of-the-art language models to understand that. So so that's kind of the variation from simple things to very kind of complex signals, and then we kind of bring all that together. In the end, we get a score. Okay, how malicious we think this email is, and then we also have like what are the most malicious things we consider to be bad in this email, and then we try to present that to the user in the most sensible way that would reduce the risk that the user will interact with the email if it's malicious, and also give a learning points for the user.
Great, thanks. And hey, one last question before I demo the product. Pyry, where do you see the future is heading within the industry? What's the evolution? Where are we going within the phishing industry and the training industry here?
Well, I think this is the future. On the awareness side, I think the kind of like we have kind of like there. Of course, there's a lot of these tool-based solutions out there where many of kind of companies are using a tool to create this training content. The problem there is that one size fits all doesn't really work anymore. So the future is in the training side, in this kind of a highly adaptive role-based training where you train the individuals based on their demand, their need. So if you have a person who has a tenure track within the company of 3 years versus let's say a call center where the average tenure is 6 months, the training needs to be completely different and based on the role and the access of the user. So having systems that actually you can just put on, they take the data from your kind of HR systems and adapt to that kind of those roles, and the demand is the kind of where we are going. And I think the industry will kind of follow. Similarly with the kind of reported threats, the kind of there, like one of the traditional ways is that you kind of either have your own or you kind of acquire outsourced SOC that to analyze those. So I think the approach where we kind of use advanced machine learning methods to actually kind of get the signal out of the noise is the kind of future here. So the amount of data is just so big to be kind of be able to kind of be processed manually in any cost-efficient manner. So I think that that's also the future on the threat processing side. And then of course deep integration with kind of SOAR products like Azure Sentinel and kind of Palo Alto Demist.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to summarize, what is really important is that first of all, our customer organizations, you need to get the threat data to act on it. And we've accomplished that. We're able to give you the threat data. We're able to incentivize your human layer, turn that into a sensor network that gets triggered whenever they see something malicious. Now we're getting this threat feed and a lot of it. And we really need to kind of be able to analyze all that threat feed efficiently, and then also pinpoint the reports that you need to pay attention to, because it's true that typically the kind of noise to signal level is poor. That ratio is poor typically. So we need to be able to analyze the whole threat feed, the whole signal, and then separate the kind of the noise from the signal to kind of be able to make your SOC teams or help desks efficient in remediation of these threats. All right, 15 minutes into the webinar, let's go to the actual product demo. Let me share my screen. Here we go. Okay, great. So what you are seeing here is the email client of myself. The employee would see the same thing. They are seeing a malicious email in their inbox. Again, what our system has taught the users is an active behavior and pattern of what to do whenever they see something malicious. We have turned them into this active sensor, and we've trained the sensor to recognize maliciousness. Of course, the longer they are in the Hoxhunt training, the better they become in recognizing maliciousness. At the end of the day, their action should always be the same. Always use the Hoxhunt report this email button to report anything suspicious. And we really want to kind of guide this behavior to the plugin, because the employee should know that whenever they think something's off, they can always just click our Hoxhunt report this email button to report an email. Good things will come out of clicking on the button. That button is the answer to all of your email problems, so to say. What we're seeing here is an email that is not sent by the Hoxhunt system. If the employee is trying to report it, our system will tell the user that, hey, this is not from Hoxhunt. And if they then choose to report this email as phishing, what will happen is that we will tell the user that, hey, you can now report this email to help others that have received the same threat but not recognized it. And the email will be now forwarded to your company's security team. The user can also indicate if they have already done something stupid with the email. So if they have already kind of visited a link and given out their password, this is kind of the core and base functionality that everyone will get with our base product. Today, we're showing you guys the next level, the next evolution in this. So the instant feedback feature. If the user chooses to receive instantaneous feedback, they can do so by opting into the feedback. When they do so, we will send the email to our back end for analysis for the algorithm. The algorithm will instantaneously analyze the email and also tell if other sensors in the network have recognized or reported the same type of an email from within the network. So not only from within your organization, but from within the network as well. In this case, we have 7 other people that have reported this same email to our system. What we'll tell the user is that, hey, excellent job, you have caught a malicious email. Avoid any interaction with it. We are in the back end running a kind of machine learning algorithm, a score, maliciousness score that is ran between 0 and 1. There is kind of a complex score behind it, but of course, what we tell to the employee is just the indication of maliciousness. So if this is malicious, we're just saying, hey, it's malicious, not that it's 0.67 malicious, but it's just malicious. We will also tell the employee what's going on. So, hey, we have rated this email as malicious with high confidence. The email includes malicious attachment or link or techniques practically only used by attackers to make you believe that you need to act upon the email. We will also tell the employee what they should do. So it is very important that you avoid any interaction with the email. Do not click the links, download attachments, or reply to the email. Now, what is very special about this algorithm is that we are actually turning this zero-day threat into a very powerful training experience for the employee. So our algorithm slices and dices the email, as Pyry mentioned before, into hundreds of different data points. And we're extracting the most malicious data points for the user and indicating to the user what are the most malicious points that our algorithm saw in the email. What are the things that they should pay attention to? As said, we have run a data set for the kind of special purpose AI from 5 years with millions and tens of millions of data points, by which the algorithm will understand if this email relates to anything malicious from the past data set. Of course, we are updating the data set all the time, so the algorithm itself becomes better and better every day, the more data points we get from our sensor network. In this case, the algorithm has extracted 3 different threat indicators. It says that, hey, we transfer has been mentioned in the body. Typically, that means that there is a certain level of maliciousness. Also, homoglyphs are present in the sender name. So these homoglyphs are characters, special characters that seem like typical Greek letters for us, but what it really is, they are not letters. They are just representations of letters. And in if you kind of code them back, what we see is that they actually are not letters, but something that resemble just the normal letters for us. Also, we are extracting from the email the third indicator that, hey, the sender address is from a free service, and that also bumps up the maliciousness rating of this email. Now, these three indicators are the indicators that by which we train the users to look out for in the email. Of course, we're running a lot more indicators in the back end, but these three indicators are the most relevant for the user in that time. So again, to summarize, we're turning this real threat into a very powerful in the moment training experience. Also, because of the maliciousness rating, what is actually happening is that we are kind of killing the curiosity factor for the employee, because typically what we've seen is that our users, they are, even though they think something's off and they think something is malicious, they still kind of want to click on the email because they really want to know if it is malicious or not, or what would happen. And now that we are actually giving them feedback that, hey, this really is malicious, what happens is that kind of we give that clear statement, and that kind of kills the curiosity factor as well. We're not only training on this specific email, but we're actually creating a history of reports for the user as well. So not only with the simulations, but with the real threats as well, we're giving the user a history of what they have reported from their inbox to our service and what have been their kind of verdicts on maliciousness on the other reports. So the employee can go into any of the reports, any of the emails they have reported, and then learn about those kind of reports of what was malicious within those reports. Now, once the user has reported this email, well, X amount of things happen. So what just happened was that this email was now sent to Microsoft, to their technical layer for analysis as well. So the beauty of our system is that we are able to integrate with X amount of different type of services. So we have built the whole system in a way that we are highly integratable to any system in the world. And those systems, whatever they are then the systems that you can kind of enables our customers to then do the final step in the remediation, which is if you want to quarantine the email from other users, or if you want to deny list the IP or the sender of that current email from your infrastructure. This is pretty much it from the instant feedback side. As said, no one else in the world has done this before. No one else in the world is able to do this instantaneously. No one else is able to turn zero-day threats into very powerful training experiences. And the future will show us how this functionality will then correlate with the future results of our training program. We are very much waiting for the results, and once we have data, we will absolutely share that data with all of our customers as well. At this stage, I'm going to stop my share, and we still have 5 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions, we can take the questions now. Let's see if there's anything in the Q&A currently. Pyry, there's a question from anonymous attendee, a great question actually. What if the algorithm makes a mistake? How does it work? How accurate is it?
Well, the algorithm itself is quite accurate. So we are actually kind of, based on our internal testing, we are kind of at the level or surpassing a kind of a human analysis with the algorithm. But as kind of any algorithm or any human, it can make mistakes. So what we have tried to do is even in the case where the algorithm thinks, okay, I didn't find anything malicious in this, the message that we show for the user is still kind of like, hey, it could still be malicious. Please trust your gut instinct. The reason why you kind of reported it, you already kind of you were kind of looking for something. And then what we have this operational model where on a weekly basis we run kind of a human analysis on all of the threats reported to us, especially ones where the algorithm is a little bit like unsure what it is seeing. And kind of we look at those threats and we look at kind of, okay, was this actually malicious? And if it is malicious, why did our algorithm did not detect that? And it's actually quite interesting because we see the kind of evolution of evasion techniques by the attackers. You mentioned homoglyphs there. That's a very, very common, not very complex evasion technique, but kind of it's of course like a cat and mouse game. So that's like it's ever evolving. And we have to remember that this stuff that gets reported to us, most of our customers, all of them, are using already like sophisticated email filtering techniques from Microsoft, Proofpoint, Mimecast, Google. And this is the stuff that gets passed through those. So it's the 1%. And where we have tuned our models is to detect the bad stuff within the 1%. So it's a combination of very interesting data, the freshest threat data you can almost have. But also we need to be continuously on top of the game there to kind of keep the algorithm accuracy on point. And then if it makes a mistake, if it thinks something is not bad, but it actually is, give the message to a user in a format that it's kind of the user still kind of like, okay, I shouldn't actually interact with this. Very rarely email is as important that, hey, you should kind of immediately take action on it. So I can wait a little bit. And then if we change the rating later on, we'll of course send an update for the user.
Yeah, absolutely. In the case of a kind of not a kind of a very solid verdict, what our system will tell the user is actionable steps on what they can do to verify the email themselves on top of our analysis. So if it's unsure, we're still giving those tips on how to act on the email, even though our algorithm wasn't sure about the verdict. 2 minutes left. I think it's time to wrap this up for the day. I want to thank you everyone for your attendance and for your time. There's still one question here. We are happy users of Hoxhunt. How do we get started? You can contact your customer success manager if you want to try this feature out, and they will guide you to the right place. Also, if you are new to Hoxhunt, we are delighted to hear about you in our sales. So we can absolutely help you out if you contact our sales. Thank you everyone for your time today. It might be morning, it might be late night. Thank you so much for joining, and I wish you all a great day. Thank you so much.